Hey, happy Sunday, everyone. I am late getting my video and I'm so sorry. So our last three chapters, we had a lot of info in them. So I'm just going to break it down. I wrote some little notes per chapter. Chapter 11, I really liked how it broke down the motivation for students, whether it was negative or positive. And I really liked how they explored both sides of that. And operant conditioning was used as an example why students respond to certain subjects. And I really liked how it broke it down, whether that would be negative or positive. And also peer modeling. I thought that was kind of an interesting take because you see that so much. Students want to be like their peers, whether that's good or bad. And that could actually be really good for their motivation. If they see a peer succeeding, they see a teacher responding to that success, that very well may make them want to receive that same praise and etc. So going into chapter 12, classroom management, this was my favorite chapter just because that's always been my fear coming into teaching is classroom management. I, as you know, work in a public school currently, and honestly, if you are serious about teaching, I do recommend trying to be a para for a little bit because you get to see lots of different things that I don't really feel maybe we'll get to see in student teaching just because I've been there for so long. I've gotten to experience a lot of different things. Student teaching is such a short stint in specific classroom. So as a pair, I get to float around and kind of see what things work. And so this chapter really, I got to see what my fellow coworkers are doing and their reason behind it. And I also can identify the different types of teachers I work with. So, okay, to get back to our textbook, number one, show your confidence. That is such a big thing because if you get up in front of a group of kids and you're timid and you really aren't prepared, they know. And that is when behaviors start to, kind of popcorn around. Your good kids are going to be good kids, but even sometimes I see them, they get bored and they get a little mischievous. So another big thing for me is I'm really personally, I'm really good at ignoring behaviors. But I love how they said that ignoring behaviors only works if everyone's ignoring that behavior. Because I've gotten so good at that. And then I'm questioning, why are they still, what do they need from me? Well, they're still getting reactions from their peers. That's what they need. They want that reaction. Even if they're not getting it from you, the teacher, they're still getting it from their peers. Another really good one was how to be an effective teacher. And effective teachers, they give clear directions. They hold students accountable. They show that they care about their students. That is a big one. I've seen teachers that are prim to the point, but they don't have a lot of relationships with their students. And guess what? Just because they're strict doesn't mean they don't have the behaviors, and they do. And I think some of that goes back to that connection piece that you do need to make with each student, and it can be exhausting. So that's just something. And then another one is routine. They thrive in routine and clear expectations and humor. Humor is your biggest thing. You can be strict and be like, stop doing that. But if you, call them out a little bit with a little joke, they respond better. And it just makes your classroom not so serious, but also you're getting things done behaviorally. Okay. Final chapter, chapter 13. I thought this one was a little bit boring, but as you got to the end of the chapter, it kind of ties in every theory that we've learned in it. I really liked the discussion on direct instruction. I've always been a little foggy about that. And this is where this is all teacher-led. It's structured, but you're teaching them the correct way to do things before they move into more complex, independent things. So you're teaching them those foundations. And now knowing that is so important to me. But it also leads to independence, and it goes back to that constructivist teaching. You can be teacher-led, direct teaching right away, and then I feel like then you can kind of taper off into constructivist teaching. It also gave some really good ideas on like capturing students' attention, those type of things. And then to go back into the constructivist teaching, you really there I liked how it gave some of the negatives, because I always think so positively about it, but it really gave me the negatives on it. And I like how it discussed how you must understand how each students' minds work. You've got to get to know your students and, do that work to make it be successful. And then the final point, I really liked how it talked about you must teach the students to work collaboratively. And that's so important, even as they move on with their lives. If they're not great group partners, they're not going to be great coworkers. They're not going to be, it really teaches them those foundations to be successful in all aspects of their life. But, okay. So the things I had, and I'll see you guys. Have a great week.